To add subtotals to our data, the first thing we want to do is sort by the columns that we want subtotals for. Let's say we want subtotals for each category. I have filters on, so I'm going to use my filters to sort. Otherwise, you can use the data menu sort command there. I'm going to sort it ascending or descending, doesn't matter, but you just want each group of categories to be together. I'm then going to go to my data menu and choose subtotals. This first question here, at each change in, this is where we tell it which column we want subtotals for. In this case, we want subtotals for each category, so we would choose category. Use function, this is which function you want Excel to use. Most of the time you want it to add everything up, so you would use sum. If you wanted though, you could have it count how many transactions there were, what was the average transaction, what was the highest, what was the lowest, but for now we're going to use sum. In this area you choose what column you actually want it to add. Since we want it to add up the money, that's what we're looking for a subtotal for, we're going to check amount, and you can uncheck everything else. These other areas we can leave as they are, that's fine, and then we'll hit OK. And you'll see that it took each section of categories and gave us a subtotal. And it gives us a bold car maintenance total here, clothes total, credit card. The other thing it gives us is this pane over on the left where we can expand or limit the view. You see the 1, 2, 3 up at the header here? If I just click on these numbers, the 1 level is the grand total, level 2 just gives the subtotals, and level 3 is everything. I can also expand or collapse each individual section by clicking the plus and minus buttons here. When I collapse a section, it's just hiding the rows. So you can tell that there's hidden rows in between here because the 1 and the 4 are bold and blue. To remove your subtotals, you go back to the data menu, subtotals, and remove all. And you're back to where you started. If we wanted to put a subtotal for each month, we would start by sorting our date column. And the problem here is that we have individual days listed, and if we subtotal now, it's going to give us a subtotal for each individual date since these are all different entries. So what we would need to do is change our date format. I'm going to go to Format, Cells, and under Date, I'm going to find one that doesn't have the actual date in it. I just want the month and the year, and this one looks good. I'm just going to deselect that column so it'll give us subtotals for everything, not just for that one column. And now if we go up to Data, Subtotals, at each change in, instead of category, we want date, because we now want it to subtotal by the date column, which will be divided into months. We still want it to add, so we'll leave it as sum. We still want it to add up the money in the amount column, so we'll leave that as it is. You can click OK. And I'm gonna, in my outline pane here, I'm gonna click the 2 so I just see the subtotals, and here they are.